Awesome. Today is graduation day. Once again, welcome. We've been through 5 weeks of learning. We have we have done a lot for all the tracks, for those who are doing the cloud foundations, and also those who are pursuing their web application builder project. And I can I can say how delighted I am for each and every one of you who is, I can say, graduating today. The reason why I'm saying graduation is because you're starting another new journey in terms of your cloud journey, your cloud learning. And as much as we might not be, you might have already been gotten used to waking up on a very early Saturday morning and learning and sharing insights. It doesn't mean that it stops there. If you've already made it a habit to wake up early on a Saturday and do something, please go on with that. And I'd be delighted to hear what you're doing, learn from you. I'd like to see you become uh, solutions architects, cloud developers, cloud security engineers, and I'll be ready to welcome you on a fireside chat just to get to know what you've been doing, and maybe how this class really really transformed your journey, maybe as a start or even as you continue in your career journey. So again, welcome and congratulations. It means that if you're here, you've made it through. As always, usually start with a big number of people, and then people drop off along the way, which is totally normal, because sometimes people really don't consider what they're signing up for as they're doing it. But here you are. It has been an intensive journey. Maybe some of you might have been interacting with cloud and AWS for the very first time. And I'm sure you had something to pick from this journey. So just to keep it rolling, just give a recap of what all of you did, starting with those who are doing cloud foundations. So for those who are doing cloud foundations, you must have been doing, let me just do this, and then I see whether I can just jump onto these. So you are doing 10 modules, and these 10 modules covered from the different cloud concepts. You did an overview of that. You then went on to cloud economics and billing, which is now a very important factor, because in the well-architected framework, you even talk about cost optimization. So if you become an expert at that, you become sought after by different companies who have already moved on to the cloud, migrated, or even considering to migrate to the cloud, and would really want to know about the cost implication of the same, or even how they can manage their cost in a more effective manner, and maybe translate those savings into other areas of the business. Then you went on to module 3, where you understood about the AWS global infrastructure, where you learned about regions, availability zones, and maybe local zones, and even outposts, just to get an idea of how the whole global infrastructure really works. So these are very important concepts, because if you really don't know about what a region is, how you're able to go global in minutes, how can you be able to ensure that content is available because resources are nearest to the users who need it. Then you went on to cloud security. This was an introduction, because we now, even with AWS, we have the security specialty. And again, even the Academy offers a security focused course. And I'm delighted that everyone who is going to be graduating today from the Cloud Foundations will also go on and do their cloud security course. Then we also went on to network and content delivery. And here networking is key because that is where you understand about subnetting, CIDRs. You also got to understand about subnet, NACLs, security groups. You also understand about NAT gateways and all the different networking features within maybe what we call a VPC to ensure that your resources within the cloud are communicating with one another. And I believe this is where a lot of learning happened, because for those who are doing the project, this is one area, if you didn't get right, you can be frustrated for quite a while. Then content delivery, very important. Here you think about cloud formation, caching, just ensuring that you're able to make sure that your users have the best experience, lowest latencies in terms of accessing content from your web application or the resources that you've hosted onto the cloud. Okay, then we went on to compute. And compute is where you're talking about EC2 instances, you're talking about even serverless, Lambda there, and it's a very interesting area. It's most of the time the area where most people jump into. I remember the first ever resource that I used on AWS was an EC2 instance, which that means that most of the time, this is a starting point for most of the people. Even before you start understanding about all these other concepts, most of the time we get onto cloud because of the compute offerings. Then again, you went on to storage, and here you got to understand about the different types of storage, object storage, file storage, and even got to understand about the different offerings. Think about EBS, EFS, S3, and all these storage have different use cases and different scenarios, different pricing structures. And it's very important to understand how they work and how you can leverage them to ensure that there's better performance for your applications, and also even use them for backup and many other different ways of understanding how you can get even as limited, usually say unlimited, usually almost virtually unlimited storage, but how can you leverage it at the lowest cost? And even how can you maybe move data between different tiers in S3 for cost savings because they're infrequently accessed. Then you went on to databases. Databases is very interesting because right now we even have either relational databases, NoSQL databases, and AWS has really done a very good job in ensuring that we have database offerings for all the different needs of users across, and continuously improving them, continuously availing infrastructure, current generation infrastructure to support different kinds of databases. Here you learn about RDS, DynamoDB, Aurora, Neptune, name them all. They are on in this space. Then you went on to look at cloud architecture. And in cloud architecture, it's very important to understand how different kinds of architectures support a use case or support a client. Because as someone who's getting into solutions architecture, it is the architecture that drives the implementation. So then again, you went on to the final module on auto-scaling or automatic scaling and monitoring, getting to understand how you can create an auto-scaled and load-balanced architecture. And here we also looked at different aspects, launch templates, And I think this was a session that was well run by some of you, by one of you. I think this was run by Roy. And there's also a session that was run by Meshach. I think it was on the different lab that you did. You did a lab on IAM. You did a lab on launching a VPC. You also did a lab on databases, how you can do that. Different storage, you did a lab on storage and how you can mount different kinds of EFS to you can say instances, right? They can be shared across different instances, and you can see that if one instance updates a file within the EFS, the other instance can also see those updates. So that is the power around EFS. Then again, you also did something on, you even did a number of activities such as Lambda. So these are some of the things that are very important. So then again, auto-scaling is very important, and getting to understand how can you monitor your infrastructure using different monitoring tools such as CloudWatch, metrics. How can you be able to check on what is happening within an instance? And right now, just recently, AWS has come up with a new innovation. You don't have to now use Bastion hosts. We have endpoints where you can access resources in your private subnets, such as EC2 instances, without having to spawn or manage other management and operations overhead over Bastion. So these are some of the things that happened in your cloud foundations. So for those who are doing the project track, I'll be using the showcase template to show these. And congratulations to all who are able to do this, to finish their 10 modules for the cloud foundations. A huge congratulations to you for doing that. Then going on to those who are on the project track, and in the project track, you are going to also be presenting to us the work. It's very important to see, are you able to explain what you've been working on? So just to be precise, just to give you an idea of what is going to be happening, you're going to be having, let's see, just see how many of you are here. Just load it here. I can see Lynette, I can see William, I can see Roy. I think I haven't seen Meshach in the call. So you'll be having 15 minutes of presentation each, and you should show it to us because we are here even with colleagues from Cloud Foundations, and they need to understand what you're doing. So make sure you are using very simple language in terms of what you're doing and make us understand what you're doing. So you'll be given 15 minutes in which nobody is going to ask you anything between. So you're going to do an introduction, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and maybe anything else you want to say for that 30 seconds. Then you give us a scenario, a business scenario, explain to us what you're really building. I believe the business scenario is the same across, but the way you explain it in that 1 minute is going to be different from one person to another. And then you're going to give us a solutions overview. So you're going to explain to us how you're going to provide a solution on the cloud for your business scenario. Then that is going to be for 5 minutes, depending on how you want to do. Then 2 minutes for your architectural diagram. And then you do a demo for a maximum of 5 minutes. And then you give us the most important part, which I want to hear, is about your lessons learned, which can be for 1.5 minutes, or you can even do it just for 2 minutes at the maximum. So, so that is the way you should do it. I believe you already have the showcase template and you filled yours. And if you're if you've not been able to send it to me, please make sure you do send it to me after you do your presentation. So I'll give the order of how it's going to go. But before I do that, it's very important to understand what AWS Academy has done in terms of coming up with innovations and ways of helping learners understand and apply their knowledge in a real case kind of a scenario. So AWS Academy came up with what we call builder projects, and 2 of them are already live. That is the web application builder project and the clickstream data analytics project. So I'm happy to share that all the ones who are going to present successfully today are going to be able to go on and do your clickstream data analytics project. So again, since I don't want to preempt what the whole project was all about, I'll take it over and give it to the project track presenters, and I'll do it in a very random fashion. So I'd like to see if you're ready and you want to start it out. Remember, you should be able to share your screen. You should be accessing the session from your laptop and show us what you're able to do. So if you're able to go fast, you can raise your hand from those in the project track, and then I can give it over to you. And remember, I'll be putting you on a timer of 15 minutes at the maximum. So anyone is willing, and if you don't raise a hand, I'll pick anyone on random. But I'd prefer if somebody is willing to go first between the 3 of you who are here. So anyone who is willing to start it off? Hey, I love to do the dictatorial kind of things. So we'll start with Lynette. Lynette, you're going to start it off for us. Then you'll be followed by, okay, we'll give you feedback, then you'll be followed by Roy, then William will complete the presentations. So Lynette, over to you. If you can do your video, it will be great, but if you can't, it's also still fine, but make sure you're able to obviously present using audio. So over to you, Lynette.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, just let me open up there. So I'll be doing the slides only, and I also have to show the estimates.
Yes, so you will be, you'll use your PowerPoint presentation. I hope you put everything there, but if you haven't put everything there, you can switch. You can switch to where maybe your architectural diagram is, or wherever it is, and click. If you will, it would be great to see a demo of your environment. So if it needs to be launched, I don't think it takes a long time. Please make sure you do that so that you are already logged in onto the console and it is there standby somewhere. So those who are also going to be coming in later, please make sure you're already logged onto the console and are able to show us the different things that you've shown us in architecture, and you're showing us how they are the AWS management console. Hope that makes sense now.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
Okay, welcome. Over to you. You need like a minute or 2 to set things up?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you set things up, let me share my appreciation to each and every one of you who've stuck through this course. I know it's not been easy. You've been having your sprints on the first week. You've been asking questions to me. We've had side sessions. Sometimes some of you even had an individual session with you to just look at things. So I can say your dedication is what has paid it off more than any other thing, more than any monetary value or something like that. So that dedication is what has really kept the cohort going. And as you go on, remember, as I said, today is not the end of your learning. It's just the start. So make sure you're doing things, you're making progress, you're sharing your knowledge. I would be happy to see that everyone who was in the project cohort, please do share your lessons learned on LinkedIn, or yes, preferably LinkedIn. And I'm also hopeful that you're going to be getting your badges. So I'll be also checking how that happened. I should have gotten mine earlier, but I think there's an issue on that side in terms of who is now the educator of educators to offer that. But I'll check whether I do have mine because I also completed the project itself and also already started on the other one. So please do share your knowledge to the community. It's very important so that they can even ask you questions. They can even critique your architecture and make it better. Get to a habit of being ready to receive feedback. So let me see. So for anyone watching these, and maybe you're watching from YouTube or something, we usually have a 5-week cohort. I usually run these only twice. Awesome, thank you, Alvin. I think that should be the Cloud Foundations. Please do share. Please do share the same on your LinkedIn and tag me there. I'll be ready to comment and give you a shout out for the hard work that you've put into this. So yes, so what was I saying? Yes, so as I was saying that you should be, usually say the best way to learn is to teach. So remember that today, those who are going to be presenting, you're also teaching us and they're making us understand how you're doing your, how you did your project. Also, we'll be having a 5-minute Q&A for each and every one of you, just to give you a feel of how you can be asked questions and in that kind of thing. So so I know my lab, I think, ran over. I tried to ensure, I finished mine so far a long while ago, but I kept it running so that in case of anyone who wants to learn from it, can ask me, of which I'll be retiring my lab fee. I'm sure it has costed me quite a while. I can see it has costed me over $12 in terms of my budget. But yes, I'll also be presenting how I did the architecture afterwards. So, Lynette, are you ready?
Yes.
You are? Okay, awesome. So over to you. I believe you can share your screen. So awesome. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay. Let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, yeah, you can put it in presentation mode and you can take it away.
Okay. So my name is Lynette Kendikyunga. I work at Strathmore. No, I work at iLab, and I'm still a student at iLab, also doing my master's. And I have a passion in architecture. Previously, before that, I did work as a system engineer. So that's where my interest comes in for architecture and how we can actually secure it. So I'm interested in doing cloud security. That's why I'm focused on learning the cloud architecture and also still improving my skills on security. And this has been really amazing, especially to deploy cloud architecture. I used to be a bit scared on some, like I'd done the cloud foundations, which were a bit different, each module on its own, but this lab project was more combining all the knowledge that I've learned and actually deploying something from start to end without any instructions. So this was an amazing experience so far. So the project business scenario was that it was a university. I decided to give it a name, then a university, but it was called XYZ University from the lab project. And the problem that they were solving is that during peak admissions periods, their admissions website used to experience downtime challenges and was not able to serve the high number of requests. So the admins and the students would not be able to work to serve the demand at the right time. The consequences to this would lead to loss of business and credibility to potential students and parents on how whether the school is actually able to hold, have enough resources. So the solution that I propose for the university is that to have a scalable cloud architecture that is elastic. So taking advantage of the cloud architecture and being able to meet changing demands and queries. So both of the low periods, the university wouldn't need to invest in hardware architecture to meet the high periods, which the architecture would not be used during the low periods. So the cloud would come in and such that they would only pay for what they consume. And the university was looking for something that's scalable, secure, and would be able to operate during high periods and still at normal, the desired capacity state on a normal day would still be able to work without affecting or on a cost optimized solution. So the cloud, and that's the cloud for this solution would be AWS. And then, so my high level description of the architecture is I deploy the application as a two-tier architecture on the AWS cloud to take advantage of the economies of scale. That is, the web server would be on the public subnet and would be able to be accessible to the internet, and the users were querying the request. And then the database would be private, which would meet the secure needs of the university. So some of the services that I deployed from AWS are the EC2 compute, which would act as a web server for the application and support its functional requirements, that is to add, view, and update the number of students that are coming in the new admissions. And then the internet gateway to allow communication between the AWS cloud and the client. And then the application load balancer is during peak periods, the web servers would be able to auto scale and make the application highly available and still be able to maintain the workload at the desired state of the organization. And then, as I said, the RDS MySQL would be deployed in a private subnet to act as storage for auto-scaling web servers and the main web and the primary web server, and still and it's also kept private because it contains information that is quite critical, and exposing it to a public subnet would be opening it to attacks. And then the secret managers was to ensure that the database credentials are not stored in the code, but are stored safely and can be recalled, can make API calls without any manual interference. And also they could be able to schedule for database credentials change. It's normally called when you, like the database credentials have an expiry date, you can set that up so that they can be changing over time to ensure that they're not the same. Okay. So this is the architecture diagram. I'm not sure whether you can see it clearly, or I would have to use to copy it from the Lucy diagram.
I think it's clear on my end. You can go on. Looks good.
Okay. So one thing about the architecture diagram, drawing it, I really, I got a tip from my peer that you should draw it from the inside out. So as you can see, this is the EC2 web server where the application is deployed, and this is the primary with the IP subnet of 10.0.2.0/23, and then this is the second availability zone with the second EC2 deployed on the public subnet. Then you have the private subnet and the database configured in the private subnet at 10.0.6.23. We have the auto-scaling combining the public subnet in US East 1A and the public subnet in US East 1B. So it would be when there's more traffic, the application load balancer will distribute the traffic between the US East 1A and US East 1B on the public subnet. And also, if there was failure on one of the availability zone, the other one would be able to pick up. These two are interconnected to the database, and they are able to make changes to the database concurrently. Like the database serves both of them, and the changes would still be reflected whether you're being served by the availability zone A or availability zone B. Then we have the secrets monitor, which is connected to the EC2 instance and serves the API calls to the database. And then we have the internet gateway at the top, which is connected to the internet and serves the client and the users. I think that's all about that. And then at the right side, we have the for a developer to deploy this from the university, they'll be able to set up the route tables for the local. This is the primary, the VPC. That's where they would be creating the VPC with 10.0.0/16 for the public and private subnet, then allocate the different IP addresses according to the need. So this one hosts 507, can host up to 507 EC2 instances. And then we have the internet gateway, which is deployed for the connection with the public subnet. And then we have the security groups. These ones are for the instances and how they communicate. So we have them allowing SSH and HTTP requests from the internet. And then the other security group that's very crucial is the Amazon AWS database, which serves to connect the web servers and allow communication between the private subnet and the public subnet. And then we have the security group for the Athena, the application load balancer, which is also needed so that you can be able to connect to the application from the DNS of the load balancer. So we also allow HTTP and HTTPS traffic. through this. Then, okay. So the price estimate for the deployment should be a monthly cost of $26 and an upfront cost of $296. The total cost in an year would be $610. Yes, and then it is the summary of what has been deployed in the AWS cloud and what is the configuration summary. So we build in the architecture diagram would enable you to know what's being deployed where. Then, so I'll do a demo. So just let me know when I switch screens so that you can see. Are you able to see my AWS account?
Yes, I saw a screen with the records from, but right now we are seeing the, yes, you're seeing that on XYZ. You see all the students there. So for your timing, you have just a little of just under 5 minutes. So make sure you make your demo as short and sweet as possible. So maybe do you open your AWS? Yeah, good, awesome. I think you can see your console.
Okay, so this is this is the primary web server on 10.0.2. And yeah, so when I open it, this is the one, and we can be able to connect to it and add a new student. So you can see that here, and then when you go to the load balancer, this is what every client should be coming in. So I was just making a change there so that you can see that it will reflect here. There it is. Take a look at the list of students, and I can see the latest addition. So this shows that from this point, from the EC2 instance, we can connect to the database and make changes. And also from the load balancer, we can still connect to the database, make changes, we can make edits. I can delete the first one. And delete the student. Yeah, and if we update here also, you can see the same changes occur. So that's that for the demo. So it's highly scalable. I'm not showing the slide. So this is during the load test, and it was able to run. I did a load test on whether it could be able to do 100 requests, and it was able to auto-scale to 5 servers and support the load requirements. So that is whether there is such an occurrence, they'll be able to do that. And also, when I stopped the load testing and gave it some few time, it still downscaled to 1. Yeah, downscaled to the primary only. And then this is to show the RDS being able to support all the instances that are the web server instances that would run for both US East 1B and US East 1A. Okay, so the lessons that I've learned, I didn't know how to draw architecture diagrams, so I was able to get that and understand it from the help of my peers. Then I had challenges connecting to the database, and the lab that really helped me was the migrating database that we did last week. Clarified on I was having an issue with the security group settings, then connecting to the auto-scale instances to the primary address. So when I was creating the launch configurations, the first time I forgot to add the database security. I just added the security groups for the web server. Then later on to just realize I needed to add more, all the security groups that are dependent for it to actually connect to the RTS, connect to the load balancer and still run and connect to the internet gateway. And then, yeah, so the lab guides for the cloud course, the cloud foundations is really helpful. You've gone through the lab and you actually understand what is happening. This lab would be, I think, a walkover, just tie down your understanding. Yes. So one thing I needed also to mention was the white papers on highly available helped me to come up with the lab architecture and also the AWS estimate. And also want to give appreciation to my fellow peers, William, Roy, and Meshach, for being there to answer the questions when I was stuck, and for the sessions that you held, and Kevin for facilitating this and also being able to support us during the 5 weeks. So the new skills I've learned is data migration. I went ahead to do data migration strategies, and currently I'm working on a lab that's to do parallel data migration, because this was more of lift and shift from the other, from development stage. And then I'm trying to see whether I can be able to do data replication where it's parallel and the data replication occurs at the background. And I learned how to use a secret manager, which was new for me. And then configuring auto scaling and load test, that was quite a challenge, but I was able to conquer it. Then next steps is make the website reliable by creating another standby architecture in another region, so that I also understood that during our time doing the development, we had North region having some challenges during the week. So there's some time that I wasn't able to access what I was doing because the US North region had a problem generally very well. And then doing more projects in depth to understand like all the facets, the networking, compute, and database, how they connect to each other. And then also finish my solutions architect exam, which is why I actually came here to see whether I can, get the confidence to actually do it. Yes. Unless you have any questions, that's the end for me.
Awesome. I think we can, if you can use the reaction and do congratulations for that. That is a very good presentation, Lynette. As always, if you have any question, you can raise your hand or you can put it also in the chat. So personally, I really enjoyed the way you were able to break it down and also show your understanding of your architecture. So maybe my first question would be, is from the well-architected, the AWS well-architected framework, which are the pillars that really came out significantly? You were able to see these come into practice during this project. Which pillars and how did they come out? Which I hope you understand the well-architected framework and you understand about the pillars and which came out significantly as you're doing this project. Yes.
So one thing that came out was the performance efficiency, being able to do the load test and to see them scale up. I think I always had that in theory. So being able to do the load test and seeing them scale up, and then stopping the load testing, going to see so when check the dashboard so that the resources are being used, when see the RTS, how are they connecting, and also I increased the number of the load tests, and actually the connection to the RTS was overwhelming, so they weren't able, the website was not available, like you couldn't do the functional requirements. So that was really came out right. And then the cost optimization, because it can be seen that during basic usage, they would only be using one instance, but when there's more usage, they'll be able to use as much as they need. and so they only pay for what they need. And also the tracking policy, I had set it to 50. Then I realized that it's making them get more instances, which would cost more. So I decided to increase it to 90%. And I saw the instances that were deployed were lesser. And then, yeah, I think that those are the two that came out to me really well.
Awesome, thank you. I love the fact that I don't know whether it was a good thing that I don't know whether it was US East that went down over the week, so that it shows that really the cloud really can fail at times. It's not as always that you'll always get it the way you want it. I remember, I think we were doing a one-on-one session and later on I saw it in one of the user groups in the WhatsApp that that it was down. So yes, so I think it was a good thing for it to happen. Yes, Lynette?
Trying to figure out what's wrong, and then it was giving me Stockholm to deploy stuff. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, then I just went to the news, then I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you can see there's usually that health monitor kind of dash. Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations. And yes, congratulations in your presentation and also in your graduation. And let me know if I missed any question on the chat. If there is, maybe anyone else who has a question to Lynette before she drops off the stage. Anyone with a question to Lynette? So in respect of time, I think I'll now take it over to the next over. Thank you so much, Lynette, and see you on the other side. Thank you. Welcome. Okay. So I'd like to now invite Roy. Roy, over to you to present your showcase your project.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Roy Kiprop, and I recently got certified with Solutions Architect AWS, and I'm very passionate about cloud, and I'm interested in getting into cloud security, but for now I'm working on projects here and there, just trying to make my hands dirty with AWS cloud. So I think I'll just share my screen.
So please go on. Your time is already counting.
Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, it's clear. You can put it on presentation mode. It would be great.
Yeah.
And a slideshow, obviously. Then you can.
I can see.
File, home, insert, draw, designs, transition, animation, then slideshow. At the where you are. You can see slideshow. Just go to after animations, you have slideshow.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Then from beginning. Awesome, thank you.
Thanks for that. So yeah, so I've already said my name, and the title of the project was to come up with a highly available, secure, and scalable web application. And I think, so yeah, we were presented with a scenario of a school called Example University. They had a web application that was unable to handle high traffic during peak admission period. And as a cloud engineer, we were told to come up with a solution to host the application in AWS cloud that will address issues to do with the application not able to handle high traffic during peak admission period. So the application is supposed to be reliable, it's supposed to be available, and provide a seamless user experience to the end users. That was my problem statement. So the solution requirement for the scenario was that it was supposed to be highly available, and that the solution should have minimal downtime to provide seamless usage. It's supposed to be highly scalable, to handle increase in traffic, especially during peak admission period. It's supposed to be secured. That is to protect sensitive students' personal information, which included their mobile number, email, their name. The solution was also supposed to be load balanced to evenly distribute traffic to the resources. Again, it was supposed to be functional. It was supposed to allow users to view, add, and modify and delete records. It was supposed to be fault tolerant in such a way that in case of failure, it should allow for quick recovery. Again, it was supposed to be cost effective to the university, cost friendly to the university. Okay, the use cases for the application. Now the users using the web application, okay, the users who are supposed to use the web application should allow users to do the following: adding student records. If let's say you're a new student, you are able to add your records into the system, which included the name, the email. Then if you visit the system, the application should allow you to view the records. It should also allow you to modify the records, and you can also delete the records. Like those are the functionalities that the application should provide. Okay, under the design consideration, now to provide a highly available web application for the university, I was supposed to deploy the application in multiple availability zones, and also use of auto-scaling group to replace or add resources based on the workload. We're also supposed to load balance the application. That's the use of application load balancer, which will distribute the traffic to multiple resources evenly. And also scalability, you can leverage auto-scaling group to automatically. Now this auto-scaling group will add resources or remove or even replace based on workloads. Like it will replace the resources based on health checks. Let's say that the one resource is unhealthy, the auto-scaling group will automatically replace that resource with a new one. Then if the traffic is high, it will add new resources. And when the traffic are low, it will remove the resources. And also this will help the web application to optimize costs. Then for security purposes, they're supposed to deploy the database in a private subnet and limits access only to the web server, which is the web server was supposed to communicate to the database because the database had the backend data. And also we are not supposed to hard code the credential on the code base. So what we did is supposed to store the secrets, the credential inside a secrets manager. Now within the code base, the code will basically call we'll call the secrets manager and retrieve the credential, which included the password, username, and the password and the username. Also to implement WAF to monitor inbound traffic, but this didn't work for me because I think we were limited with the resources we were limited to some resources in the lab, so I was not able to use WAF in our case. Then under monitoring and logging, use CloudWatch to capture application logs to be used for analysis, and also alarms to monitor metrics and trigger automated action. Then for performance, can use CloudFront to dynamically cache content to edge locations, and this will enable users to receive content with low latency. So this is my architecture diagram for the web application. It was supposed to be, that was deployed to AWS. And I don't think it's that clear. So what I do, there's a link here, and I'll just open the link. Okay. Just a minute. Kindly confirm if you've been redirected to my draw.io design. Can you see my design?
Yes, we can see your design. You can go on. And you have 7 minutes.
Thank you. So in this design, like as you can see, let me just, nice. So here we have the users accessing the web application through the Route 53, then to the cloud front, then to the internet gateway. So yeah, I'll start with the web server. It's running in the public subnet, and it's deployed into availability zone for high availability. And this auto scaling group to provide a scalable architecture. Then the web server is accessing the database by calling the secrets manager to retrieve the credential to access the database, and you have to define a role that is attached to the web server to allow web server to call the secrets manager. Then the database is deployed inside a private subnet. And yeah, it's deployed inside a private subnet these are database security groups that only limits inbound access to the web server only for security purposes. Then here we have the application load balancer that helps distribute traffic evenly to the availability zones. Then the internet gateway, it's the one that enables the public resources to gain access to the internet. Then the S3 bucket here, it can be used to store logs for CloudFront. You just configure CloudFront to use to store logs in S3. It can be used for monitoring and analysis purposes. Then KMS encrypts S3 buckets. Then Amazon CloudWatch, as I said earlier, which is for monitoring and also analysis purposes. Then web application firewall is to monitor traffic that's coming from the internet to the cloud front. So this architecture, I was not able to deploy all the services due to the limitation that I had. So I was not able to use WAF, was not able to use KMS. And I was able to use CloudFront, but it was not working it was not, okay, I'll just show you, but it was not working the way I expected it. I was not able to use Route 53 also due to the limitation of the lab and KMS. So I think I'll just go back to my presentation. Okay. Now here's my cost estimation for my web application in AWS Cloud. Is a link. I think I'll have to go back again and open the link for you. So this is the cost estimates monthly for 12 months, the total upfront cost and the overall cost. The overall cost includes the upfront cost. So monthly it's $109.54 US. 12 months it's $1,314.48 US. Then upfront cost $98 US. The overall cost is $1412.48 USD. So this is the summary of my costs for EC2 VPC, Secrets Manager, Load Balancer, Web Application, KMS, all the services that are in my design. So this is the cost estimate. So this is the cost that example universities are expected to pay to AWS when they deploy their application in AWS. Okay. Now we'll go to the demo. Just again. So this is the web application. And as you can see, the link, when I click the link, it has taken me here, the site of example university. I click list of students. You can see I'm able to view the records. I'm able to modify the records. Let's say I change my name to, let's say, Rocky Prop, and click submit. I can modify. I'm also able to delete. Just confirm. I can also add a new student if I want. So this shows that the web application is functioning well as required. And I'll show you I'll log into the management console for you to see the services that I had configured. So as you can see here, this is the web server. It's called Projects Auto Scaling Group. It's running. Then this other instance is the one that runs Cloud9 environment. So here I have the load balancer that's balancing traffic for us. It's active, as you can see here. It is here. Then the auto scaling group, it's here, projects auto scaling group. Maybe you can just see the details. Yeah, let's go to activity for us to see what really went on. So this was the first activity, launching a new instance which was successful. So this it was during the time of creation, it launched a new instance for us. Then the second event, after performing a load test, it increased my capacity from 1 instance to 2. Then again, the load test was increasing. The auto scaling group automatically increased the servers from 2 to 3. Then at this point, I think the load tests started to reduce. So the server was terminated from 3 to 2 again, from 2 to 1 to minimize cost. And yeah, then I think I'll go to RDS, the database. This is my database. It's called projects database. It's available. It's the one that has the backend data for our web server, and it's up and running. As you can see here, let's see the details a bit. It's fine. Yeah. So I'll show you the secrets manager. You can see the secrets the credential that was stored inside the secrets manager. this is my secret. It is inside the secret manager. So let's go back to my presentation. I think I'm done with the demo. So this link, it has the public IP of the web server, but since we are supposed to load balance our web application, we are going to use this one for application load balancer. This other one, you can access the web application using the CloudFront. So lessons that I learned, okay, and the challenges. First of all, I faced a challenge with the web server when it was calling the database credentials, since the name of the secret was not the same with the one specified within the config file inside the code base. So like literally I had to change manually the name of the database for me to access my web server from the internet, like for my web server to communicate with the database so that it can access the backend data. So this is the challenge that I faced. And the resources here I used, this link for AWS. It contains the documentation for all the services. It's very essential. It's useful. And also I forgot to add the Cloud Foundational course. It's also essential. And my next step for the web application, as I told you earlier, I was not able to use all the services that was in my design. So I'm planning to further implement the solution to improve the application performance even better by maybe incorporating the services that were in the design, but I did not configure them or I did not deploy them, which included the deploying the RDS in multi-AZ, also using user authentication with AWS Cognito, using the Route 53 for DNS services. And also for security, I'm also planning to implement my solution to use NAT gateway and KMS to encrypt data at rest. And also to, as you can see, we accessed our web application using HTTP, and it's not usually secured. So it's advisable you use HTTPS which usually encrypts traffic, not at rest, but it's supposed to be while in transit. Sorry for that. Okay, so I think I'm done with my presentation, and thank you all.
Awesome. See, good. Yes, do this for my lighting. Awesome. I think that helps with my lighting. So thank you so much, Roy, for a very detailed presentation. You went over time by a bit, but I decided, since it's your time to shine, let me just give you some more time. We can give you a clap. You can do that on the reactions. If you're on the chat, you can. Congratulations for that. Thank you so much for our work. Well done. So I first of all want to thank you, because I remember there was a time when you were so stressed about your challenge on the secrets, and we had to run a session with you on that, and we were able to overcome that challenge. And there was a lot of learnings around it because we troubleshoot. I don't know if you can say troubleshooted, but we did a lot of troubleshooting. We even decided to open up the security groups and see whether that is an issue. We saw that's not the issue, but finally we were able to overcome by looking for how, because remember that in secrets, when you delete a secrets, they're not deleted immediately. It takes, was it 7 days or 30 days, right?
Yeah, between 7 to 30 days.
Yes, between 7 to 30 days. So you should be very careful when you're dealing with your secrets, so that you don't set secrets that then you maybe try to delete. And if you start, once it's scheduled for deletion, you cannot access them anymore unless you create a new secret. So those are some of the things that were a lot of in terms of learning. I also see a lot of things that you're going to do in terms of your next steps. I'm looking forward to see you do that. and implement them. As much as you said, there's a lot of limitations from the AWS Academy side in terms of the lab provision. So that was, in essence, to keep the environment safe enough. So, but you can do a lot with your AWS account. Only thing that you should be careful is about your costing and some of the resources that you may be using. As you've noticed from the course so far, from the architecture so far, no one is implementing an art gateway. And I think that this was something very deliberate from the academy side to ensure that there is no cost, and the only resource that was available, I think this is like a 2-tier database tier and a web tier, was that there's no that application tier that is in a private subnet that you need to access. Yes, again, William, thank you so much. You cannot use the same secret name with the one that is scheduled for deletion. So if you delete a secret called my secret, then you try to create another one called my secret, it will not work. So you'll be in a limbo where you cannot, and you can't, if you can't understand your code base, you'll not know where to change everything. So thank you for that. And maybe I've obviously asked you a question because everyone deserves a question. You said you tried to implement CloudFront and it didn't work as you expected. What did you mean when you said this? And I don't know whether I saw that. Did you demonstrate that in your demo? Maybe that is something that you can make it clear for us.
Okay, what I meant is that when I implemented CloudFront, then I tried to access my web application via CloudFront. Okay, I was getting the web page of the web application, but it was not communicating with the backend. Sorry, I didn't show you that, but maybe I can just allow me.
Okay.
Just
show you can please show us through CloudFront, and maybe that is something you should troubleshoot before you finish up. Okay, you can click on the CloudFront link and show us what is happening.
Yeah. As you can see, like I'm not able, the web application is not communicating with the backend data. I don't know why.
So I don't know whether you did some cache invalidation or something just to confirm, because maybe when you created the CloudFront, you remember you still had an issue. You had an issue with your code base, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you could have done some cache invalidation, then you can try to access it again, but no worries. I think that is something that you can do as you're further learning.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sure. Congratulations. Thank you. So we go on to the last presentation by William. Thank you. You can stop your share. Then William will cap it off. Then we can conclude the session. And yeah. So William, over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So once again, welcome to this session. My name is William Maina. I'm a cloud enthusiast. I've done the CCP, that is the Cloud Practitioner Exam certification. Also, I'm a tech enthusiast. Also, I just completed my university education just some days ago. Yeah. So let me share my screen so that I can start on. I hope you can see it.
Yes. Yeah. If you go on presentation mode, it will be great.
Okay. So in this slide, so this is the topic was about building a highly available, secure, cost-optimized web application for university admissions. So in the business case scenario, this is the part where we identify this problem. What are the pinpoints or the problems the university admission is facing out when carrying out admission. So the university is carrying out admission and preparing for the new for the new school year or when they are preparing for admission. So all the admission processes are happening in the university web application so as to store the students' records. The university admission department is complaining that the web application is running slow and at times it becoming unavailable during peak hours or maybe when there is high number of traffic or requests. So on the solution requirements, so as to provide the rich user experience for the department users, the web app can be hosted on AWS Cloud for rich user experience so as to offer massive benefits such as load balancing, scaling. All this can be achieved by the cloud. Also, the improvement can be achieved by building a highly available, scalable, load balance, secure, and performant architecture that can support thousands of users concurrently at any time. So solution, to provide a high level description. In this case, you will provide a high level description. So in first part, it will be achieved by designing an architecture that will be highly available, scalable, load balance, secure, and performant architecture. The architecture will have all the services needed to run the web application. The department users will be able to view, add, delete, or modify the students' records in an efficient way without any perceivable delay. So for the design, I used according to the well-architected framework to design initially I designed a 3-tier architecture, but later due to some implications or costs of the lab, I decided to go with a 2-tier. But in a real sense, for the production, if it is one in a real case scenario, would go for a 3-tier architecture. So I would go. So according to the well-architected tool, I ensured it would be scalable. This is to ensure that the web server layer can scale horizontally to support the request traffic coming to it during peak times. This will also reduce the number of instances when traffic is less. Also, for security purposes, we will protect our internet-facing infrastructure using the web application firewall. Also, the security groups, we will limit access to the infrastructure using the appropriate ports for each service. Number 3 is load balancing. We will use a load balancer to ensure that to distribute traffic across the multiple availability zones to avoid the operational overload on one resource in one availability zone. On point 4, fault tolerant, the solution will use an auto-scaling group to handle unexpected change in traffic or faults. In case one instance goes bad or there will be always another instance that will be running. On high availability, the solution will run on 2 AZs in case one AZ goes down to make sure that the web will always be running. Or in some cases, you can go up to 3 availability zones to distribute traffic for high availability. So some of the services used in my solution, they implemented a VPC. This service will help me launch resources in a virtual network that I will define. There is the NAT gateway, helps instances in private subnet to connect to the internet and prevents the internet from initiating those requests. But in my case, I didn't use this part. I didn't use this part because of cost implications. And so there is the S3 bucket simple storage service. This will let me store logs from the trail. It will capture all the details happening in my account, and also it will store the static content. There is the public subnets. Here, I will ensure the resources here will have access to the internet. There's the private subnets. Resources here won't be connected to the internet. There's the internet gateway, which allows the communication between resources in a VPC. and the internet. It just allows the VPC resources to communicate with the internet. There's the Amazon RDS of the relational database service. This will help me provision my SQL database. There is the load balancer. Said earlier, it distributes incoming traffic to the instances in different AZs. There is the WAF of the web application firewall, protects the web application from exploits and attacks. AWS CrowdTrail, it will monitor and track activities in the account to ensure compliance. In case the university management needs credibility and trust, I will ensure that this is implemented using CrowdTrail. There's the Route 53, this DNS service for connecting users' requests to AWS resources. CrowdFront is the CDN that speeds up the distribution of content to users globally. So in case for this region, since we are running our application in US East 1, and maybe let's say our application is here in Kenya, you can see that distance may limit. So it is important to implement a CrowdFront, but if it was in a real case scenario, I would go to a region, maybe the one it's closer, maybe South Africa or Middle East, something like that. There is the next service, the Secrets Manager. It will help me manage my secrets and database credentials in a secure manner to ensure compliance. There's the EC2 instances. We deploy our application in these instances. Autoscaling group will adjust the traffic based on the traffic. So the use cases I will demonstrate here in the console should be able to carry out the desired task. So here's my architecture diagram, but I can show my final one. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, you can make it larger the way it was. You can make it, you can zoom in a bit.
Or let me zoom a bit, but I will drag where necessary. Okay. So we have the users. In case this maybe the university are accessing our application from the website. So they log in, they start here from the users. Then direct that traffic through the Route 53, which will distribute the incoming traffic to the internet gateway. Due to the internet gateway, to ensure that this traffic is secure, the traffic has to pass through the AWS web application firewall, which will protect our infrastructure inside the VPC from exploits. We have the CrowdFront. I said it distributes the request that it speeds up distribution of content. CloudTrail will store our logs. All activities happening in this AWS account or in this region will be monitored by CrowdTrail and then store those traces in the S3 bucket up here. The VPC, then the traffic will come through the internet gateway. Our VPC have defined our side here. The internet gateway will help our resources to communicate to the internet. We have the load balancer. Now the function of the load balancer will distribute traffic across multiple AZs. In this case, you have 2 availability zones across these EC2 instances. So the autoscaling group will help adjust traffic. We can set maybe a minimum of, we want 2 minimum instances, or maximum in high traffic, we want 6 instances. That's the work of the autoscaling group, will help us achieve that. The public subnets, we have 2 public subnets, A and B. Yeah, this will help our instances to communicate with the internet. Then moving to the private subnets, we provision our Amazon, our RDS MySQL database. We reside in here. So the EC2 instances will direct that traffic or those to retrieve those credentials inside the Amazon RDS, in which the RDS in 1C, we can use it for write operations. Then in this this other RDS in another AZ, we can use it for read operations. But in any case, we distribute for across multiple AZs for high availability. In case one AZ goes down, there's another RDS up run. We have the role here. This is the role we are provided for in the account. It will be automatically assigned by the EC2 instances. Then the secrets manager will store our secrets credentials, such as database usernames, passwords. We will store here in the secrets manager. I think that's the architecture. Let me go back to the presentation. So in this part, I've demonstrated the architecture diagram. Let me go to the calculator cost estimate. Just I had already here. Cost estimate. Yeah. Don't know if it's visible on your side.
Yes, it's visible. Maybe we can, yeah, it's okay, fine. It can go on.
So here is my cost estimate. I decided to go with the no upfront. My monthly cost will be around $270. This part here. For the 12 months will be this amount, and it is in US dollars. For the group, for the detailed estimate, so we have my estimate on this side. We deploy application in US East because of lab requirements, but for business scenario, for real life scenario, you can go to a closer region, closer to use due to latency. For description, this is my description, like cost for a load balancer will cost this many amount for this amount of time. We have one load balancer. RDS, it will provision this, and this amount is for this. All these details will be inside here. So we have the EC2 instances, S3 for static content. We have the secrets manager, the elastic IP inside our VPC. We have the Route 53, CloudFront, WAF, CloudTrail, and the Liplica in the other AZ. It will still need to be accounted for. So my total amount will be amounting to this. So lesson. So I think I can demonstrate on my console part, although I had some troubles here configuring the so I had 3 instances here, one for Cloud9 for the web server and another one for connecting for my RDS. But for this web server, it's not yet implemented, but I'm still trying to configure out what's the problem, but it's not communicating. But for this,
maybe we can troubleshoot right now live as you move on. That's part of project live. So what was the issue?
The issue was the web server on phase 2.
Okay, first of all, maybe let me help, because I think you had already given me the context around it. Go to the instance, the instance that had the MySQL server inside it, as well as the first one, the phase 1. Yes, maybe you can open Cloud9, go to Cloud9 and go to the environment around. Let me see, my time is showing. Okay, let's see, because that's also important. My time. Good. That was just telling me your time, but it's okay. So open the environment, open your Cloud9 environment.
Let me open it. But the second instance is run this phase 3.
Or the one that has only the application without the DB. Without the connection to without the DB inside it, and is it accessing the RDS?
No.
Okay. So here we are. So go back to instances. Let's click on the one that is on the very first server that was instantiated, which is the one web server.
It's this one.
Yes, tick on that. I want to see the 10.0.1.5. Let's go to Cloud9. Cloud9. SSH, just SSH to that instance.
So I
SSH, just SSH without any SSH. I don't know if it's Ubuntu at 10.0.1.5.
I write it.
Yeah, just as write SSH.
Ubuntu.
Hopefully Ubuntu at, don't put a space between them. 10.0.1.5, right?
Yeah. .5.
Just type yes and we move on. So we cannot SSH into it. Is this Cloud9 in the same VPC?
It's in the same VPC as the.
Okay, the other thing would be, what about the security groups? Is port 22 allowed for? Click on that web server. What is it? Under security? Under security?
It's this
web server. Click on that. We want to see what are the allowed inbound roles.
I've allowed even all
SSH is going to where?
SSH is any sources anywhere.
Just edit the inbound roles. Let's see whether you can allow I hope you did the VPC under 10.0.0/16, right?
Yeah, it's under that.
Maybe you can add another role for, I know it's anyway IPv4 for the internet and everything. Let's do another SSH inbound for 10.0.0.0/16.
Anywhere.
Custom, just custom.
Oh.
Then click on that part. Click on that. Don't save the rules. Yeah, click there and type 10.0.0. 10.0.0.0/16, the second one. Then save it. Let's go and again and try whether we can SSH into it. What key did you use? You use the voc key or what, the key that was generated? Okay, good.
For the lab.
You can repeat the process of SSHing into it. But if it fails from the Cloud9, you can try to access it directly.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to try to SSH to it directly from EC2.
The web server.
Yes, that one. Connect.
So Kevin, maybe on that, I also had the same challenge, but what I found out is that even though instances are in the same subnet, they can't SSH to each other. You have to actually create this and give them the public key and add them as authorized.
Wow.
Authorized keys. You have actually to do that.
It couldn't work. I realized that, you know, if you have created two instances with the same key, because when I did the lab myself, I was able to SSH into it as long as I did the Cloud9. I did the Cloud9 in the same VPC. I remember the first day I showed you in the group and I told you I had to redo the whole lab because I made the mistake of launching the Cloud9 in the default VPC. But the moment I did it in the same VPC, and I think I don't think it really has to be that manual, or maybe unless you need to do what we call the SSH forwarding. I think that is what Roy had done before. I think the other time he had asked it in another group. So, okay, so I think you're already in it. You don't need to SSH into it. You're already in it, so you can clear that. So once you're here, I want us to look at the status of the MySQL service. So maybe you can, I don't know, this service status MySQL. You can type that. So you can see there's no MySQL running in your, okay, is it status service or service status or service MySQL status? I think service MySQL status, right? Service MySQL status. Service MySQL status, if I'm not wrong. So it is running, okay?
Yeah.
So if it is running, maybe you can log on to it, MySQL you, I think the user is what? Usually NodeApp, right? MySQL you NodeApp -p. Yeah.
This one, yeah.
Yes, that one. Then you put the password. The password, I think, is student12, right?
Yeah, I've typed that.
I think capital S, right?
Is it small?
Or is it small, or I think all small?
Yeah, I've typed all small.
So you can see that is also another issue. If you should make sure you are able to try to do it again and see why the password is working and which is the wrong password. Because the other thing is when you're trying to export the DB, it has to access. You can use the up arrow. I think the up arrow will help you.
Let me type again. Student12. Still not connecting.
So obviously that means that the password maybe might have changed or something, because access denied for no. Is it the the user? Let's go to the first phase SSH. Is it the very first one, the very first script file?
Oh,
the very first script file.
This one.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see the password is student12. The user is the NodeApp. No worries about that. So my advice would be you launch a new instance and you try to load these old, you launch a new instance and put these under user data, because the password, I don't know how it changed or how that changed. We can do that very fast as you launch that. Okay, as we do that, we will still give you your congratulations once we finish these, no worries. It's very important to always ensure that you're able to work around and see what could be the issue. And I think you always look at it from various perspectives. And the very first time when you get a connection issue, first of all, check with your security groups. And then again, the solution is not to make sure to render the security groups obsolete by allowing all traffic. Try to see if that is not the issue, although you can try to troubleshoot that in a production environment, that's not allowed. So always remember that you need to know how to rule out certain issues so that you can say it's not a security group issue. It's not for example, right now we've ruled out that the MySQL service is not running, so it is running. So for this, I think make sure you put it under, yes, exactly, public subnet. So the other thing you should also look at is also the VPC and even sometimes even the region. You might be accessing a resource that is in a different region through a different region. So always those are some of the things you check out when you're having issues with your implementation. So I think, look, just scroll up first of all. Let's go to the IAM instance profile. Scroll down under the advanced. This IAM instance profile. EMREC2 lab instance profile. I think, did we put this right? Do you remember whether we put this?
I put this in the, for this, it was required in the phase 3.
Okay, leave it alone then. You can just leave it alone if it was required in phase 3 and not in the first phase. So you can put the user data there, launch it. We see whether you can SSH into it from Cloud9, because I think the reason why we are using I think Cloud9 to run the import, who knows the reason why we're using that and not maybe doing it from let's say the EC2 instance from phase 1 directly to the RDS. Who might be having an idea? So the reason why mostly is because with Cloud9, you can also check on the code base. You can access the code base for different kind of application just from it. You've selected 2 security groups. That is why you're having that issue. You can unselect the first one, the other one. If you want to look at the, yeah. And I think we can, now that you realize that the issue is not SSH, it's still initializing. Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
As that loads, maybe I can also share. Okay, is it done? Okay, is it still initializing? Okay, let me see if I can load my environment so that it becomes worthy to why I left it running for all that time. See that I can also load my environment. As you close it out, so let's see, I'm not seeing, I don't remember what I opened. Let me just share my screen as, okay, once it finishes initializing, you can just unmute, interject.
Okay.
Can confirm that you can see my screen, my console. So you can see that is also seeing my lab is wrapping up the dollars in terms of my budget. Okay, no worries. let's look at that thing that Linux brought up as of Cloud9. Hopefully my EC2 instances have already initialized. I think they should have initialized because of So okay. So you can see this is my auto-scaling instance. Okay, I think I terminated the, I don't know if it's, okay, I think I did terminate it in Capstone POC. So let's see if I can open the public IP. Should be working. Let's see, it is. Okay, I don't know. I think I terminated the MySQL because if you go to this, it's still connecting. It load. So the Capstone app server. Let's look at the security groups. So this is only the security group for the Cloud9. No worries. This is the app security group. Finished initializing?
Yeah, it's finished.
Okay, maybe you can share yours first. Let's go on it yours first. Let me stop my share. Go on. Remember, we'll be done by the top of the hour.
So it's finished.
Mm-hmm.
So let me copy.
Okay.
I think now it's returned. Yeah, it's now working.
Okay, kindly add one student there first. Add one crazy thing that we can remember that this is the right thing. Yeah.
See. Yeah, you can see
Okay,
it's
good. Now let's go back to Cloud9, and I hope you get the private IP. Copy that private IP for the EC2. Try to do that MySQL dump.
Let me.
Maybe you can copy all that.
I think it's
then you can change the IP. IP should be 10 dot. I saw something with a 6. I don't know if it was with a 6.
It is 26.
Yeah, about 26, yeah. I think it's totally fine. Student 1, 2, I think all small.
Yeah.
So it has completed. So you can do an LS just to confirm it's there. So it is there. So you can do the import to RDS.
Let me see that.
Okay, it must be somewhere there.
The last one.
Yes, it should be that one. MySQL H, just a different indirection. You have your RDS endpoint.
Yeah, let me just.
You can pull it from Secrets Manager. Life is going to be easier that way. But if you want to, okay, it's okay. You can just do even whichever from this RDS, but it's better from Secrets Manager because that is where things go haywire.
And 1, 2.
Access denied.
Let me retry again.
It could also be an issue with how you created that DB, but
yeah, it's denied.
So that is also an issue on the side of your DB. Let's go to RDS very fast. Create a database.
I create a new one.
Yep, just create a new one. I don't want to start troubleshooting yours. Okay. So call it something to prove you're moving on well. I hope they under the option we chose free tier.
Under?
At the top, just scroll up. Choose free tier. Under production, dev test, or the templates.
It's under dev tests.
Put it under free tier.
I've selected the dev tests free tier.
I choose the free tier there to make our life much easier. Then DB instance identifier. You can call it something that you'll remember, but that's fine. Master username should be node app. DB instance identifier must be there, so you can call it something like you can call it my DB or something.
Password I create all.
Okay.
For the password.
For the password, it should be student. Then you can repeat that there. Then you can, yeah, dbt fine.
General purpose.
Storage should be 20 GB, no worry. Connectivity should be choosing the right VPC, not the default one. Just scroll down. VPC there. Choose your VPC.
Should we connect to EC2 or?
No, don't. Just leave it the way you don't connect. And then public access should be no. Okay. VPC security group, choose existing. Just cancel that one. And then you put your DB. I hope you created a good one.
Yeah, for MySQL. But
okay.
the this one.
Okay. Yeah. Availability zone, choose the first one. Then enable enhanced monitoring. Should be cleared, should not tick it. Additional configuration, tick on that. That's usually where things get crazy if you don't put things. Initial database name, that should be what? Students in capital.
Yeah, students.
Scroll down, then you can create that database. So as you wait for that, I will also now share, you'll be telling me what is going on. If it becomes ready, you tell me. So let me just open something here. So I hope you can see my screen. So I was saying that let's say you want to say this is a Cloud9 environment. As you can see, if I look at it and I say view details, we can see don't know whether you can network settings. You can see it's under my BVPC. I think this is my private VPC. That subnet that was created. No worries. So let's say I want to switch into which is that one.
The audio is not clear.
Okay, my audio is not clear. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, sorry. I think I was speaking while facing the other side. Let's go to instances. You copy the private IP. Let's see whether I can confirm what Linet was saying. I don't know whether I never SSH'd or I did something else. Okay, I need to put, yes, I think Linet, you're correct that I think what we do, you can access maybe an RDS instance, but you can't unless you do what you call the unless what I do this, unless I do, let's see what I can do this here. Let's see what happens here. Open the contents and paste it there. So you need to give it an input of the private key, right? So just trying to ensure that I have the private key here. So you have the private key, paste it there. You can even call it maybe voc key.pm or voc.pm. SSH. I think I need to do what? Chmod 400. Then I think I need to SSH with the voc.pem as a file. And then I think I need to put 10.0.1.2.2.1. So I think it must be, let's see. What else should I do? I think it should be a privacy issue because it can't allow you to access it from a way that it's not good. So I don't know if I do a +X can help. Let's see what's going to happen here. Oh, you can see it's too open. So it must be also not the right key. But I think you understand that what I said. I think there's something about putting the key under but I'm not sure whether the keys under the lab instructions are the VOC key because it's written labs user, but you already know that the key is my account ID 98. Let's just confirm. Yes, should be that one. Copy this. And see what happens. Okay, the other way would be, can I view, or there's no terminal here. So let's see whether I can go back to this and I can do a new file. Let's confirm that it is the same thing. Okay, ends with a JZ. It's basically the same thing. It's basically the same thing. So what we need to be sure is whether that you can use the keys on these because there's no other place to get it, because under security, okay, under the whole details, if I just do this and we look at the key, you can see the key is VOC key, of which I don't know whether we have another lab that have used VOC key. If I can, I'll look for it because I don't know whether I have a VOC key somewhere. Don't know that. Let's see if I had it. I think we can already get it. Key. Yeah, I know another place I can get a VOC key. Don't know that I still have it here. Find the VOC key here. Let's get it on. We must get and see whether we can SSH from the Cloud9. Hopefully this is where I can get it. Well, the course is ended for that one. I think I can get a learner lab educator that cannot end. William, if it finishes deploying, you tell me.
I think it's fine now.
It's already okay. Let's just finish this part, then we see whether, let me see whether I can get AWS details here. Okay, I need to start this lab. See. But I don't know it's going to affect my other lab. That is also another crazy thing. So if I'm able to generate AWS details here, so still labs user, still a labs user, ends with, this one is a bit different. Let's see whether it's going to be helpful. But I think the concept is already home. Let's see whether it's going to sort it and you're going to access. So it's still an issue with the key. but no worries, you can create a new key and launch your instance using that key that you already have. So maybe stop my share, then you go on and let's finish your troubleshoot, then you close the session. Over to you, William, very fast.
Okay. So we are here. So I think it's this one now. So let me copy the endpoint.
Yeah, copy the endpoint and put it on the other side.
On the Cloud9.
Yes, it's under Cloud9.
So let me change this.
And I now don't know, can we update the values on the secret? That would be another thing. That one seems to be working. We get the prompt back, it means it has worked. Let's see. Go back to RDS, we see what's going on. Are you sure that it had finished?
It's available.
It's available, yes. That could be an issue with your DB configuration. Let's go to that DB security group and look at it. Take me to that DBSG. I can see, okay, inbound.
Can see, let me see it here.
Yeah.
I think it's
Inbound,
this
what
one.
are the inbound rules?
MySQL.
Aurora, why is that source? Edit that inbound rule and let me show that source. That's where the issue is. What is that security group?
Source, I think it should be from there.
Let's put it under 10.0.0/16 to make our life easier a bit.
In the VPC.
You can do that from here. You delete that inbound rule, then you do another one. Delete. Then you add another one. Then you do the MySQL Aurora. Then, yep. So on my side, I've already done a load test on my ALB to show you how it's going to scale up. So you can see it has completed very fast. Okay, good. Awesome. So now that it has done that, go to Secrets Manager and see whether you can edit the value for the RDS endpoint. And if you can't, you'll have to do crazy things. So it means that can you really edit? You can't edit, right? You can edit. Okay.
This one here.
Yeah, remove that. And put the other one.
Yeah.
Click on save. Go to the, I don't know whether you'd already put an ALB or something, but you can try to access from this EC2 instance that has the app server alone, that doesn't have the MySQL within it.
Let me see it.
Switch.
For the phase 3.
Yes, the phase 3 one. List of students.
Eh,
There's an error.
Still not yet.
Let me just confirm something. What's under phase 3 scripts? What should be the name of the secrets? My DB secret. Go to your secrets manager and let me just confirm the exact name.
To my DB, for my secrets manager.
My DB secret. Let's just see. They should be capital M, then small DB secret. Node app students, student 1, 2. The other way to confirm this, go to that SSH into that instance that you see is having that error to connect to the RDS. Okay. I don't need to SSH, it's already in. So once you're there, do an LS, go to resources, CD to resources, do an LS, go to code-based partner, CD to that first. Go to LS. Where do you do these things? I think under app, CD to app. LS again. Not a CD. Do nano config.
I do sudo now.
You can do sudo. Oh, config is a directory. Oh, I forgot. You can CD to config first. I'd forgotten that I think the name is the same. CD to config first.
CD config.
LS again. Yes. Now sudo nano. You can use the up arrow, and then you now add the .js. Or if you want to type it again, no worries. Sudo nano config.js. Okay, my DB secret.
My DB secret.
These usually filled out, but okay, if error. Okay, you can try and put the DB host under localhost. Just click on that under localhost. Localhost, that line written config.app DB host.
Number.
Yeah, that one, just above students.
This one.
Yeah, remove that and put the name of the RDS endpoint there.
Okay. So to edit, I will use switch command to
just put the arrow, take your cursor there, take your cursor to that point. Yeah, then just change.
I think it can't edit.
you will take your cursor, use your arrow keys on the keyboard. Are you using your arrow keys?
Yeah.
Not your mouse, yeah. I should be able to see your cursor moving. You can control X, then run the command again, then we go into it.
But it's the session, it's
not really. Control X. Use Control X.
I've used still not working.
Okay.
Kevin, I think the files were locked. I also tried to edit, but I couldn't edit anything on the code zip.
Let me share my screen and show you this. Okay, let me see. They should be editable because we did it with Roy. So let me just SSH. Let's see. This is the instances, right? Can you see my screen first? Let me just not assume.
Yes.
So this is the capstone POC, right? The POC is now basically the proof of concept. And if I connect to it, I should be able to access this instance. Let's see how you can troubleshoot on that on your end. Because, okay, so if I select resources, code, zip code based partner, then I go to app, then I go to config, right? So if I ls, I can sudo nano to that. So if I decide, you can see what is happening here. Okay. What I was saying, you can move the arrow to that part, and then maybe you can change. For example, I know this one is running into, it is running in, so this is the POC. So let's look at the other one. Let's look at the one for, let's look at the one for the app server. Let's connect to it. Again, the drill is the same. I should be able to do this. Sudo nano config.js. So anything different here? Nothing else. Still also having the localhost value shown here. So maybe William, as I look at this, kindly confirm the security group rules for the app server. For example, let me just show you mine. This is the app server. The security group is, okay, I'm using lab role. I think should have used the lab role. It should be having the lab role there. The IAM role should be lab role. And then in terms of the capstone app SG, you can see I have TCP to anywhere, I think SSH to anywhere, HTTPS, HTTP to anywhere, and then you should be having also MySQL to this. So do you have this rule? For the app server, for the server that doesn't have MySQL inside it.
Let me check it.
That's, I think it's called phase 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, check that you have this rule. Because, okay, so for my case, that what I was telling you is I did a load test. I should be able to see, you can see I'm seeing 3 more instances that came about. And then in terms of the ASGs, when you go here, you should be able to go to activity and see, for example, I think I should be waiting. This one is, it's waiting for instance format for this one for 5B. Okay, so this just happened right now. I think some few minutes ago. It launched.
Security has it.
Yes, it has that. It has that rule.
But yeah, that
And is that rule is that rule going to what is the source?
Source is anywhere.
For RDS.
Yeah.
I use the subnet 10.0, change it, remove that one and put the one for subnet 10.0.0.16 for that RPSG, because that is how it should be. Should not be receiving
Okay.
BB connection from, yes?
I've done that part.
And if you've done that part, have you tried to refresh on the page on the students? So for our load balancer, if I go to monitoring, okay. I think the target groups is where I should look at whether how many instances are up. The targets, I can see there are already 3. They're all healthy. If I look at them, there they are. So yeah, so there I can see 1 is in another availability zone. 2 are in one availability zone. If I want, I can change it. I think that is what Lynette was saying, that Lynette, you did something with regards to the target tracking policy, right? And auto scaling, right?
Yes, yes.
So you changed, let me see. Is to tag the instances.
I think you want to add the tracking policy.
Yes.
You have the default one, so you need to add a policy.
Oh, yeah, right? No, here, and I can add another policy here, right?
No, this for termination.
But these are termination policies. So let's scroll up. I think it should be under the, is it under the ASG or is it under the load balancer?
It's under the ASG.
So if it's under the ASG where I am right now. So this is the group size, the details, the network, which isn't an issue, the instance type, no worries, where the load balancer, the target group, load balancing should be in that target group which you're using. The PC lattice, you're not using that. These are health checks. These are scaling.
For the connection, still not yet.
Okay, so let's look at this first. Okay, these are health check settings. Let's go back to the these are the health requirements. No worries about that. So should go to the load balancer now. Edit attributes. I think you do it when you're configuring, right, Lynette? Under the ASG.
Under the ASG, there's automatic scaling.
Or let's open it up
It's
here.
automatic scaling, yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So this is the place, then I can tick on that. I think I can edit that. Yes, exactly. So you say that you change that from
so it was
30 to around 90.
I put 90, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that means that
because it's there
instances are,
like,
yeah, surely. Yeah, that's key something. Then also you can see the default is 300. So you can even make it shorter if you want. Yeah. But this is, it's also something to note that as much as you can do this one under EC2, if you're dealing with different kind of infrastructure where there's a lot of things, that of scaling changes, you're better off using Lambda or a serverless solution rather than running these, because even if there's a scaling event taking place, users will still feel the effect that your application is not responsive because of the time differences between when the ASG realizes there's something wrong, then it needs to, an instance is being launched. So those are some of the things that you need to consider when you're dealing with auto scaling. So you need to look at a use case, client's use case, and confirm, are they really, do they really want to continue managing their own infrastructure, or it's better doing it using a serverless solution like Lambda? Over to you. Okay, I don't know what, so if it's not connecting, let's use, because mine is working in all aspects. Let's look at, because I'm sure it is a security group issue. If it's not a security group issue, because this is the app server, right? And if you look at the public IPv4 address of that app server, it's well connected, right? No worries about that. So
Kevin, you can try doing it manually and just send the SSH to the POC, and send the data SQL from Cloud9 to the POC through, what is it called? SCP. Through what's the protocol? The one where you SSH and then send the files over instead of just connecting from it here.
Okay. Okay, there's really not a need to transfer files manually, because you remember we had a script, the sub, or SQL or terminated MySQL in the so there was really not a need of transferring files, but maybe something went wrong in terms of launching the server. But over to you, William. Can you share your screen and we see what happens? Yes, I agree with you that you might decide to transfer files over, but the good thing is we had a script to run the whole thing. So if you see there's a problem, it shows that there's a connection problem. So the other question would be, can we MySQL into your RDS endpoint? So you can go to Cloud9 and make us see whether we can do that. Or you can do you have an SSH into your app server, your phase 3? Where is that SSH session?
I don't know if it's terminated. It's this
Control
one.
X to that one. Control X. I think the 225 is what?
The private subnet for this instance, for phase
Instance.
3. Yeah.
Good. So let's go back to that. Let's go back to the session. It's the next one there. So if you are there, try to do a MySQL user node app.
This command, this one.
Yes, copy that one, but we are going to change it a bit.
Okay.
Copy that one. Okay, it should be the other one, but it's okay. Paste that one there. Remove everything until okay. Let's start at the top. Let's start from the home. Start from the, yeah, exactly there. Delete everything up to M. Yes. Then remove dump. Remove the name dump. Remove that space. Put a space there. Here, put the RDS endpoint link.
In this part.
Yes.
Control V. You should have a space.
Remove. Is that P really necessary?
No.
Remove everything after the -P. Those databases, student, because they're not doing a MySQL dump, we are doing a connection. So remove everything up to P. Like that. To put the P, yeah. Press enter. Student 1, 2. So you can see you can access your RDS instance from your app server. So copy the public IP. Open it in a new browser and let us see what goes on there. So it means, so if you can access it from your EC2 instance, that means there's no issue with the security inside that. So the other issue would be, did the secrets really update? So
I don't think if it updated.
So it did update it. So the other thing would be us changing it in the code base and see whether it's going to sort the issue. So let's go to your SSH session, because I want us to finish this up. I was supposed to be in another session after this, but it's okay. Exit, do an exit or a control D. You can type exit there, so that you get out of the MySQL session. Then sudo nano config.js.
I made list first.
Yes, it's that one. It's okay, Lynette. Totally fine. I think she does. Okay, remove, yeah, go to that local host line. Yeah, you're ready, yeah. The one that has localhost at the top, yeah. Remove that localhost backspace and remove that. Then put right click and paste if you have it in your the RDS endpoint there. If it works, I think we will have finished your troubleshoot. Has it pasted something? It didn't. Hope it didn't paste something else weirdly.
Yeah,
then you can control X. I think there's a big issue there. Do an LS. Do an LS. So you did made a mistake. You weirdly typed so you'll have to go back to sudo nano config.js and do what we just did, but don't paste. Now you have understood how to use nano. Scroll down to localhost, take your cursor, remove it, and then when you're when you're there, you know it's going to give you a file name to write and about to save. Control X. Just say yeah, Y, type Y. Enter. Good. Let's go back to the other tab. The tab that, yes, the last one, that one, yeah. Refresh that. Still having an issue. Oh.
Yeah.
So if it's still having an issue, that should not be the case. Maybe what I'll advise you do, then you'll tell us, create a new secret, and you can go back to this config and give that secret a new name and put it, or you can just try to launch a new app server. Now that we did solve your database issue, you can try to do another phase 3 app server launch and see whether that was, and try to see, because it must be something about the configuration of that app server.
Okay, so I will launch another one.
Yeah, you try to launch another one, and I can see it has so many security groups. Kindly give it only one. I think those are some of the issues. It has so many security groups affiliated to it. That is also another big issue. So thank you so much for those who joined us as we did this, as you also did a bit of a live troubleshoot. So somebody might be asking, what next? What next after I'm already done my cloud foundations? I'm already done with my project. What next after this? So the most important thing is to always document your learnings. I would advise you can do a blog post, maybe on Medium or Dev. Document your journey or your learning journey. What are your experiences? You don't have to be technical about it. Just say how the whole 5 weeks were, and share it on a platform like LinkedIn. Tag me there, and I'll be happy to go through your experiences and get to understand what you did. So the other thing that is also of importance is everyone who was on the call, who was able to take part in this graduation, would be eligible to go on to the next phase of learning, depending on your needs. So please feel free to reach out to me and see what you can do next. I can't promise a live sessions, because that I only do it twice a year at the most, as I was just giving back. So The only thing I can assure you is that once you get access to maybe any learnings, it will be all by your own. Unless you have any questions, you can ask at some from time to time. So that means that today marks the end of our sessions. And see me when I see you. Awesome. So I'll be doing another session just right now up until I think around 12:30 on Bitbucket pipelines. So if you're interested, you can join in. Let me see if I can get you the link so that you can participate in that. I know I'm late. I was supposed to do it at around 11:30 or 11 there, but it's always important to always make things get on with this. So let me copy this and I post it to you. So that is coming up in right now. So no need of deleting, but have you finished launching?
Yeah, it's launching.
Okay, it's in the process of, is it? Okay, it's initializing. Okay, so you can, so I hope it is going to use the secrets and then, okay, let it finish initializing. If you're able to do that, it will be the very good thing. You can tell us if it really works. But
Okay.
this session, I'll be doing it at maybe the top of the hour for around 30 minutes. So that I have enough space to just get some breakfast or something. So where are we? So remember that you're going to be eligible for badges. That is the one thing I can maybe promise. Especially for Cloud Foundation, that is automatic, but I'll check on. The other thing is you need to look at the knowledge checks. For those who are on the project track, there's a knowledge check section. Please make sure you do that today. And then once you're done, you can also share in the group. So nice. You received both badges. Nice. And who is this? I don't know who is this using William's link, or is it William himself? I don't think it's William. Who is
It's
it?
me, Roy.
It is?
Roy,
It is Roy. You've already received the badge for web application builder, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That is awesome. So that is good. That is nice. So please do share on your LinkedIn, share your learnings. Don't just share the badge, share your learning also. So make it very very valuable to the people who are going to be reading. You can refresh one more time and see whether it's working. So remember that there's also emerging talent community. I don't know whether all of you are added to that. So please do check that also happened, that you are able to access that. Nice, Rogers. Congratulations on getting your badge. Please do share them on your LinkedIn. So let's go to so it has worked, right?
Maybe I try to configure out the secrets.
Yes, try to check it out. Then you can call it a day. So you just check out. Always make sure you don't miss any steps when you're doing these kind of configurations, and also you can try to. So don't forget that your labs are long-lived. So go on and delete the VPC that you created, because you might need to maybe come back to the lab and do it again at a future date. So please go on and delete the whole VPC where you add the whole solution on, so that you can access it later on, so that it doesn't accumulate on your budget. So application. So again, I think we can call it a day. Thank you so much for joining us, and do have a lovely one. Thank you so much. And congratulations to all the